is just fantastic. Captain's Log, Subdates 211224.6. On the 24th day of Moistmas, my whole crew gave to me a ukulele with violin strings and a set of Hello Kitty drums with skins made of Bakewell tarts, which I'm not going to lie, I'm actually somewhat stunned by the creativity of these. Welcome everyone to This Week at Twitter, or Twat, on Moistmas Eve. To start, if I ever do decide to take this on the road, I know exactly where I'm going to perform this. Courtesy of Magus Nicola, we have the Twat venue. Yay for all of us, and for every single one of you. Now smash the like. To the first subject, we go to a block, but not with me being the recipient for a change. Instead we go to Bailey Moon. Great discourse happening here. Who would you rather get a BJ from? Why? Abigail Shapiro or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Underneath a reply from Rick Roy 88. Abigail, same reason I follow you, for giant Jew boobs. Bailey, fastest block of my life. Now of course I'm not going to criticize somebody for blocking another person. It is your right, your freedom, and of course you can do whatever you want. I just thought it was a very funny reason to block somebody. And I know someone's going to take it far too seriously. Just remember, this is Twitter. It's not real life. So kindly take that throbbing vein in your temple to therapy. So next we're going to go to something that originally I was going to put in last week's This Week at Twitter because it tickled me so much. It is a Twitter account called HaTorah. School dress code update. Students cannot wear clothing with the name of any musician or band unless the student can name at least 3 of their songs. The 8th grader who said, "I thought Nirvana was a clothing brand" last week has been suspended indefinitely. We recognize this incident has proven upsetting to some members of the Gen X community. We will be gathering to heal together. All are welcome to bring a flannel shirt, Dr. Martens, a yellow Discman with minimum 30 seconds of skip protection, and an all-round dour demeanor. Important rule exception. Students only need to be able to name one Blind Melon song because no one can verify they had any other songs. The account gets better though. We had to send this student home for not being able to name any Rolling Stones songs, and it was the first time a parent ever thanked us for punishing their child. HaTorah is a modern Orthodox elementary school in New York, and the Twitter account is pure gold. I'll read one more of their tweets before we move on. We had a good day on this website. Where's our blue check? Twitter support. We're just sitting here, ready to influence with nowhere to go. We have our succulents, subway tile, skincare routine, and van life sitting at the ready. Methinks this Twitter account might be my new favorite. And follow. To move on from that, during the week, a comedian in the United Kingdom called Jethro passed away. Jethro was quite well known in this country, and he was, unlike many newer comedians, a bit of a natural on the stage. I tweeted out simply, "Rest in peace, Jethro." Underneath that though, and this one tickled me, Adam, "Couldn't make it up. Great Western Railway. We were really sad to hear about the passing of Jethro. May you rest peacefully in the knowledge that the train does indeed now stop at Camborne on Wednesdays." He used to mock them. Underneath that though, "Except for today as we are running a rail replacement service due to improvement works. Some jokes don't need an entire setup. Some jokes just need to have 3 words, like Great Western Railway. The joke is there. There are many in fact. Your incompetence is one of them. Now granted, at this time of year no trains really run that frequently, because it's convenient when so much as one leaf is on the track. A bus replacement is inevitable." So next I saw this via, I believe, Director Arcata, but I'm going to trace it all the way back to the start to get us to Director Arcata's tweet. Context is important, and this took me about 5 minutes. Henhouse Singer. So a professor on here trotted out the same tired old "but wouldn't it be unfair to cancel student debt" talking points, and then got mad at his mentions. Huh? Retweeted by Krista Pettiso. If you are a professor in a non-job oriented discipline anywhere but an ultra-elite university, it is your ass on the line. No one whose life was ruined by debt they took on to study something for passion will let their kid make the same mistake. There will be a radical student debt reform or academia as you know it will die. There are no other possibilities. Academics will talk about how their discipline will die if people don't appreciate an education in it that no one can afford. Get a grip. Or on McIntyre. Your terms are acceptable, we will take the latter. And finally, Director Arcata. Seconded. The former is an acceptable price to pay to manage the latter, which needs a dire reworking to improve on the former problem regardless. And before anyone asks, no, I'm not going to provide a suitable opinion on this. I just like the fact that I had to trace something back to the start to get the context so that the, last tweet that should have been first made more sense. Although we'll say one thing, no, it's not an opinion. The United Kingdom student debt is vastly different to other countries like the US, for example, and that can be because in 2010, things changed significantly for students in the UK. Austerity meant that many of the government protections on loans changed, which led to in turn a significant increase in how much the universities could charge the students for the privilege. So next, Magic the Gathering was trending on Twitter, more notably Wizards of the Coast or WOTC. And the reason why is because Dungeons & Dragons is removing the fantasy from fantasy games. And what's actually happening is Wizards of the Coast are exercising potentially problematic content from D&D books to address issues of system racism. That's what it says in the image, okay? The full change list is too extensive to address in its entirety, but the general purpose remains mostly the same throughout. It could be said that the changes are unnecessary and do nothing but remove content and lore from the game. But it is important to remember that not everyone might feel that way. If making changes like this allows even a very small number of D&D players to feel safer and more comfortable with the content in the game, it should at least be considered as worthwhile. I wonder how many people are now saying, get woke, go broke. Now some of my favourite replies to this would include 1. Lore doesn't matter. 2. Wizards of the Coast can do whatever with their intellectual property, underneath a retweet of a, meme. D&D simpletons whining about Wizards of the Coast changing lore. Homebrew DMs who haven't read lore since their first game. Archon OF. If you see any amount of fictional monster or race as an obvious stand-in for X group of people, you're the problem in our hobbies. Because for decades, none of us viewed beholders as disabled people or orcs as blacks until you made that connection. There is no dog whistle, it is you. I truly would never in my life ever look at some fictional race, right down to greedy long-nosed goblins, as stand-ins for anything IRL. That's just gross and disgusting. It ain't propaganda, it ain't a dog whistle, it ain't hidden nonsense. Just like the OK sign or wearing red like you can pretend some dude in the 70s made X race to be Y IRL race all you wish. That's not how normal people view stuff. We have a healthy understanding that an orc is not an African in any capacity. All you are is a bored internet white savior out to satisfy your white guilt. A retweet from Hazen Cruz. People think beholders are supposed to represent disabled people? Why is Wizards of the Coast listening to effing 7-year-olds? I like beholders. There's one in Enter the Gungeon. It's kind of fun. I kind of want a plush of it. So to move on from that, I couldn't help but notice Gal Gadot was trending on Twitter, and 3 of my favourite tweets on this. 1. Guys, who's your favourite? Retweet for Scarlett Johansson, like for Gal Gadot. As you can see, Gal has won. The second though, because of the movie upcoming Death on the Nile. 20th Century Studios, murder was just the beginning. Blah 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 promotion. HK Matthias. This cast is effing hilarious. They really got Gal Gadot, Letitia Wright and Armie Hammer in the same movie. This is a reference to the fact that all 3 are considered problematic by many people for a whole plethora of reasons, and to support this with regards to Gal Gadot, new trailer for Death on the Nile has been released, retweeted by Frogger Neil. A Zionist war criminal, a cannibal rapist and an anti-vaxxer walk into a bomb. It's this movie starring Gal Gadot, Armie Hammer and Letitia Wright. I missed 2 people then. Oops. As you can see, people really don't like them. They're the wrong kind of people. Successful and independently thinking. The last 2 all tie into each other a little bit when it comes to the subject of race. So we're going to go with breaking news. Horny woman in horny on Twitter pretends it's social commentary. A retweet of Sema Hernandez. Decolonize your mind. Underneath is a picture I cannot show of what appears to be a Native American naked, holding a white person's head. And my first thought was, if you're going to decolonize a mind, you might want to start with the language. But it could just be me. Many people accused other commenters underneath this of what was charitably considered to be diet racism. I thought it was just casual mockery, but we all have our own perspectives. And finally, why'd you delete this from Sinatra? An image of a tweet deleted by Ethan Klein. Sinatra's tweet being a retweet of something else that Ethan Klein said, basically going into detail about how much of a smooth brain Keemstar is, according to him, with many people in the replies to that also using the same tweet he deleted. There is a claim that the tweet in question was just a Jack Pre. The image reads, "Being white isn't a race, dipshit." Last I checked, all colours are considered a race of some kind. But if it's just a Jack Pre, then of course you're 100% correct. Congratulations. Now, as we're done with this, I'd like to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. If I don't see you on Twitch tonight, or all day in fact, because I'm playing 7 Days to Die over there. I hope you'll have a cracking day, and also hope you have a cracking Moistmas. And thank you all very much for listening.
Merry Moistmas. Ew.